What's going on, Onslaught Gaming family? So today we have a very special episode, and we're going to talk about mental health in the game of Warhammer 40K in particular. How a lot of us either use the game as a way for us for solidarity, for peace, our way to connect with you, the community, and make new friends. Right? So today on Onslaught Gaming 40K, we're going to get into just that, and we have a very special guest that's coming off a GT run, coming in the top 3, and we're going to speak to him right now. Stay tuned and locked in. I pressed the button, I promise. What's going on, gentlemen?
How's it going?
Yeah, no, not much, Went to work today. Glad to be here now.
Love it. I'm glad that we're back at it. It's always solidarity, coming to the point of what our title is, right? It's always solidarity for me to have an opportunity to have special guests like Chris, Elfy, Garcia, and as always, my man, to my right, left, whatever direction, Mr. Regal, the man with opinions. So somewhere.
I'm internally impressed that, Elfie's parents just like what a way to call their shot.
Accurate statement.
That's right.
You want to spearhead this, Mr. Opinions, brother? I'm sorry. I kind of wanted to give you the opportunity, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As the only one of us going to events regularly, Elfie, how's you went to one this weekend?
Nay, retract that comment, because I go very often, very, very often, but I don't play in them.
you host events, sir. You don't. There is a difference.
I'm still there cheerleading.
For what it's worth, there are many people very thankful to you for doing that, because otherwise they wouldn't have a hobby to, do locally for the most part.
No,
you do what, like 3.5 weekends a month now, something like that?
Some 4 weekends, because I actually go to participate at one.
This man is insane. I just want to remind everyone he works a full-time job and has a family at home and somehow does this too. This is absolute insanity.
Listen, we'll get into it later before we talk. I mean, after we talk to Elfy, but just remember, it's solidarity away from the family.
But Elfy, you went to an event this weekend. One could assume you took your elves, which last time you were on, you were actually the one who had many strong opinions about your elves. So
yeah, I had a few.
how they treat you this past weekend?
This past weekend was good. I went to. I've been kind of busy. Since I've been on last, I've been at 2 GTs and I think 2 RTTs since I was on last. This last GT I went to was probably one of the most competitive events I've been to.
I heard, and that's really good, man. That's really good. I'm happy for the community. And
it was a very difficult field. Like there's like.
Now let me ask you a question. Ask you a question. I'll cut you off real quick. With that being said, right? Do you feel like when you go into the gauntlet like that, do you feel like it's more advantageous for you to be a part of something like that? Or do you feel like it might hinder your abilities or maybe your opportunities?
I've always believed that iron sharpens iron. So I don't want to stray away from a difficult challenge. You can't be the best unless you play the best. So you can't go around, thinking you're the best player if you're only, playing, not the best players, And then I don't want to disparage any other players, but there's definitely, a skill level difference between, different groups and different teams. And if you're dodging those players, and stuff like that, you're not going to benefit yourself by making yourself better, because you really got to play those high skill players and against the high skilled armies, for you to get better at the game. So I didn't do as good as I normally did, but I think I did pretty well. I went 2-1 in that one, so didn't have a losing record, and I was happy about that. Before that, there was a GT in Kissimmee. I went 4-1 at that one. I was undefeated until the last round. Played my buddy Mike Mazzini, excellent player. His T-Sons were really, really strong. And so fell to that one, but I still took third place from tiebreakers. I was able to jump a couple of the players to get into the podiums. So that was good. I've been playing a lot of custodes lately. I think I've played 4 custodes in the last 8 matches. So as 4 custodes and two Grey Knights, so all the 2+ saves in the world, So that played some part of the game on this last GT. I think it just came down to a coin flip. Heads or tails. Whether they made their saves or not, and they made more than they failed. So end up going certain ways, but. On
that point, real quick, last time we were on, we were talking to you about the upcoming Knights meta heavy vehicles. So now having more of a durable infantry matchups, has that changed how you're approaching list building or approaching the meta in your next event?
No. I feel that my list can perform against them. It just comes down to coin flip, whether they make their saves or not. It's just about making sure that I'm not leaving myself vulnerable to the clapback, and make sure that you almost have to overcommit into certain units to make sure that you don't leave like 1 model or 2 models that can pass a battle shock and go do an action. And if you just would have committed 1 more unit, you could have picked them up, and now you don't got to worry about that. And now they have to use a more premium unit to do the same action instead of a throwaway unit. So it's just a matter of setting yourself up for multiple options into different units. If you know that you got to take that unit off, you got to make sure you position other units as backup plans in case they roll really hot or you roll really poorly to take that unit out. But I really like my list. I made a few changes from the GT I went to before this RTT this last weekend. Ended up going 3-0 at the RTT at Kissimmee as well. Played 2 more custodes there. 1 more traditional and 1 was all sisters. Interesting list.
That is a perfect segue into my next question. Last time you had jet bikes in your list, Dark Reapers, all kinds of Banshees. What list you take this time?
This time it's almost the same. I took out the Viper and the Warwalker. I took out my Striking Scorpions, and I added Fugan in, and I added in Lycus and Warp Spiders and a Warlock on bike.
So the Spear stayed?
I dropped 2 units. I have 1 unit now instead of 3. So I normally run the Striking Scorpions to do like a first turn action on an objective. But with the Battle Focus token, the Warlock on bike can get to the point. Whenever I deploy him, I always deploy him where he'll be able to get to the point and still do the action. So I really don't lose that first turn commodity of the action on the point on first turn, because I still have a unit that gets there. And it just lets me play a little more defensive. I tend to use the strat for sustains and lethals a lot, so I add Lycus into my list to give me sustains or critical 5s whenever I'm triggering those strats, so that I can just get more triggers of the abilities.
And Lycus's ability, correct me if I'm wrong, that is till end of turn, not just the shooting phase.
Yes, that's end of turn. So If I need to charge with Lycus, then Lycus and the Exarch both get crit 5s in close combat with their like 20 attacks.
Yeah, the Exarch running the dual melee blades. I give him a bunch of like 11 attacks or something like that.
Yeah, it's 10 attacks on the Exarch at 4, 2, 1, and then 5 attacks from Lycus, 6, 2, 2, and 4, 2, 1. And it's all lethal, so 5s are
pretty good substitute
going straight through. But I still have a lot of anti-tank. Kane's still not left my list. He's there being a nuisance to everyone. The Full Sisters Custode thought that his sword brethren charging into Kane was a good idea until he remembered Kane had T11 and he bounced every attack off Kane, and then I just picked up half the unit, and he's like, that was a mistake. I was like, yeah, well, you won't do that again.
So me and you personally, we talk a lot on the back end about elves, Eldari, and things like that. So I know how you're adjusting for the current meta. Now, let the people know how you're adjusting with your Eldari list. Are you changing detachments? What detachments are you using currently? Which ones do you see strongest? And what did you change in particular to deal with Knights, since we're in the Knights meta?
Yeah, so I've ran Aspect since the second tournament of the new book. I ran Warhost for one tournament. I went 1 and 2, and then I just switched to Aspect. I ran Aspect back in 9th for the most, or as close to Aspect as 9th could be. I just like the play style of it. As far as counter Knights, I added Fugan into my list so that I didn't have to suicide mission my dragons to be able to get sight on them. With Fugan adding an extra 6 inches to all their guns, I can set the tank back 20 inches away from the knight, still tag him with all the shots. I lose the 3 damage Melta, but it's still 11 shots at D6 damage. It's still
rerolling every single step, right?
Yeah, you reroll all hits, all wounds, and all damage. So a few of those get through, and it can be a bad day in a hurry for anything large, both vehicles or monsters.
Especially Canis has that red X on his back.
Yes.
With the shrine tokens, you can sacrifice one to give them lethal or sustained on activation, right? So you were referencing earlier.
Yeah, I can either give them one trigger, or I can eat one of the tokens and give them 2 different triggers. So it's typically sustains lethals, and just fish for the 5s or 6s. Depends if they get tagged by Lycus or not. Usually when I'm setting them back that far, Lycus isn't going to suicide up either. So I'll just go for 5s and 6s, and then a lot of people do that, and then they'll burn another token to auto 6, like Fugan's gun. But I find it more beneficial, especially when you're playing kind of cagey like that, to save the other tokens so that next turn when you get out, you can double up again. I just think there's more value there than getting one shot, and especially if they got a 4, they rotate their shields, or you're going against a Lancer or Canis, that have the 4. The last thing you want is them, coin flipping his shot, and now you've wasted your token and, did 0 damage.
Exactly. Yep.
See, this is that experience you get playing in this kind of pool of players.
Yeah.
You learn to be patient with your resources and not just blow it all at once.
Right. Yeah. There's times where if you feel like if you suicide them up and you're not going to be able to get them, safely away, then eat the token, force the issue. Especially if you're getting sustained and lethals, you're going to get 1 or 2 shots in. They fail both of them. It's up to 24 damage from just Fugan. So he does a lot of damage. If he goes through. But if you're staying back and kind of playing more defensive with them for that first turn or second turn, I recommend just holding the second aspect shrine token because you're probably going to get another chance. You're going to climb back in the boat at the end of turn. The boat's going to be 20 inches away from the original target. If you pick him up, then probably further away from anything else. And then if they shoot him, then you can still react and move the boat almost up to 7 inches further away. So the likelihood of them picking up the boat gets, smaller and smaller, especially if they can't get lines on it. And the ones they do, like, go poorly, and then you just retreat it even further back. You're most likely out of charge range, and only a few vehicles or any other guns are going to be able to shoot it. So it's all about staging for your next turn, and making sure you leave yourself an out. Try to protect it. A lot of people, not a lot, but some people might try to stay on a point because they want to try to hold it. But with a unit like that, and into that meta, you really want to preserve that unit. Who cares about the one primary they're going to hold if they're not alive to do it again next turn?
Correct.
Yep.
No, that's big brain thinking. That's big brain thinking. Seriously.
Yeah.
So you added Fugan, and I've been watching a couple of individuals on a high caliber level like yourself adding Fugan into there. Lycus has always been a part of that. I've actually been seeing people add, maybe one person added Morgan Ra. And what's the other Phoenix Lord?
Baharath.
Baharath. I've seen people start adding. Is it Baharath?
Is Baharath in the Civ Codex? I thought he didn't make it the 10th.
Karandris got removed, but Baharath is in this one. Baharath gives your Swooping Hawks a 3-inch or a 6-inch deep strike, and then because they can come down within 8, it triggers their grenade packs. So then you get a D6 for every model in the unit, up to 6 mortals. You just can't target that unit with grenade strat after that.
Now, that's a good segue to my next question, right? Why are people using so many Swooping Hawks? I know, but tell the people, right? Why are Swooping Hawks so effective right now in the meta?
I added one unit in just to make sure that my opponent just couldn't rush everything forward and not protect their backline. Honestly, it's just to keep people honest. But a lot of people are running them. You can rapid ingress it in turn 2 or 3, whatever you bring it in. And if they have no way to deal with it, they have advance and charge or advance and shoot on their weapons. And if you fall within 8 inches, now you're doing mortals. Like against Brad last round of the RTT this last weekend, I'd put one of his fortresses at 4 wounds. I rapided the Hawks in his back corner, and with their movement, I moved them up and actually did 4 wounds with their grenade pack to the fortress and picked up his land fortress with him without firing a shot at him.
Shout out to Brad, by the way, and the Roadrunners, man. I love that club. He's a wonderful individual, so shout out to those guys.
Yeah, he was a wonderful opponent. I had a really good time playing against Brad. But it's just things like that where you get 5 dice and sometimes you just roll off all 4 pluses. And I was able to pick it up, so I didn't have to dedicate any more anti-tank to it. And then so it allowed me to utilize my guns to pick up the brick he had in the middle of the field, and he was running out of bodies in a hurry because everything I was shooting was high damage, high AP. You only make so many feel no pains before you start losing too many models for you to be able to make any sort of counter punch.
That's right. Yep.
But that's why a lot of people are. The Swooping Hawks get around, your 2/4s. They get around high toughness. It's a max of 6 per unit. So a lot of people will just run 5-mans, just to keep them cheap. And I mean, it's still 20 shots, with all lethal. So if you're going against things that don't have a 2 armor save, then it's still a good chance that you're putting a couple wounds onto them. And that's all you really need is just a couple wounds here, a couple wounds there. They're great into like C-Tan because they save on 4s, and they got to feel no pain, but they don't get half damage because it's just a single pot, single damage per shot. I've picked up a C-Tan with 2 units of Hawks before. It happens, because all the lethals, and they don't have a real good armor save. They just have the invuln save, and then if they don't roll good on their feel no pain, then they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of people. Jack was running triple Hawk, triple Spider.
Yeah, triple Hawks, triple Spider, dude. When I saw triple Hawks, I was like, okay, that's got to be an adjustment for the Knights, right? To deal with the Knights, the Catans, because Necrons are finding their way back. You're absolutely right. Necrons are finding their way back in the meta right now. I've seen a lot of people out Necrons, using Silent King, dealing with that. They're pulling out ways to have to deal with Knights in their own fashion, right? Like I World Eaters.
I seen his list. I didn't want to play it because that's the one thing elves don't like is just volume of fire.
Yeah.
You know, and with that many shots, it's just, you know, you can only make so many saves, you know, and, you know, 3s and 3s all day long. And then, you know, I have to save on 3s or 5s, you know, after the fact. So, luckily I didn't have to deal with it. But, you know, I was making plans in my head in case I had to, you know. Only real thing that I did notice his list outside of that, he didn't have a whole lot, which means that he would have to dedicate some of those units to actions. Because outside that, he didn't have a whole lot of board presence. So, which told me that the Hawks and Spiders had dual purpose, which was either offensive or stand on a point, toe tap a point, and fire at things, and be an action monkey in addition. And because they can all deep strike, you can bring, you know, 4 to 6 of them in deep strike, you know, without you being able to interact with him before he gets to.
And at a small footprint too.
Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, Thomas. What were you gonna say, brother?
I was gonna say the thing about particularly with the Hawks is you can't grenade the unit that you use the Hawks grenades on, but you could like come in, Hawk grenade something, and then grenade strat another unit if it's also within range, right?
Yes. Just you can't target the Hawks with this grenade strat.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so yeah, it says in there that this unit can't be the target of a grenade strat, and since grenade strat targets your unit, you can still grenade strat the opponent's unit, but you can't grenade strat your unit to trigger the grenade strat.
But if you ran Baharoth by himself, then suddenly you could maybe, because he has grenades.
He does, but it's the unit that has the ability. The Phoenix Lords don't have many abilities of their own. A lot of it is while leading. Like his Sky Leap is only while he's leading. So, you know, if you take the Hawks off, he can no longer Sky Jump. Lycus cannot Flicker Jump unless he's be leading, because it's the unit that has Flicker Jump, not Lycus. That's why, like, if I could run just Lycus, I would. But it's the unit that has the Flicker Jump, and you need that jump to be able to get him in position a lot of times.
God, I love 10th edition. Phoenix Lords can't do what their shrines can.
Yep. And if the like unit dies, then the characters lose the unused shrine tokens as well, because the shrine tokens are attached to the unit, not to the character.
Yeah, so it's a use now circumstances, use before wasted or dead.
Yeah, there's times where I'm like, yeah, they're not going to survive this. I might as well burn this now.
Yep.
No, good enough. Good to clarify, because I haven't seen Swooping Hawks in a while, so I had to refresh my memory as well.
They are on a bigger base. You know, they fixed it, unfortunately.
Guess who sent them that text?
I feel that with my Tyranids. Many of my bugs who were on smaller bases got upgraded, and it's like crap.
Couldn't imagine who told him about that one. I was about to rebase all my Hawks on 28s.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious. I would have laughed at you. I would have messed with you, dude. I would have trolled you for sure.
I'd have a 32 on a 28 on a 32.
and just for shits and giggles, fuck it. I'm gonna put a fucking just a rod, like a flyer rod.
Don't have to. They're already tall enough. Just reaching for the sky.
Yeah, just to make literally reaching for the sky.
Look,
they're so tall that if you put them in a building, you might be able to see their wings through the second floor windows.
I don't know what hobby you think you're in, but we don't use flight rods. We use hero rocks.
Oh, true indeed. The smart ones do, at least. The smart ones do.
Not standing on it, just like the little tip of a 1 foot tippy toe while they're like at a 70-degree angle.
Heaviest at the front too.
Yeah. Don't mind me while I model for disadvantage.
Exactly.
Oh, he keeps on falling. I got me a couple inches on that, didn't I?
Yeah. We'll just put a bigger base on him. That fixes everything. Put him in 120.
Your model is just doing the worm across the battlefield.
I love it. No, man, dude, you've been doing an excellent job. everything in the 40K community with your Eldar. So you continue to kill it. You're getting banners, you're getting podiums. What's next for you? What's your next adventure? What do you feel like you might have to adjust after these GTs, coming into the continued Knights meta and moving forward? And don't tell me the secret.
I am working on something right now. To be determined. So I should have that ready in probably next 2 or 3 weeks. To bring out, and Aspect's always gonna be my favorite, and it's always gonna be my go-to for like major events. But I also want to play something just to have fun, at smaller events. So that's the whole purpose of this other build I'm working on right now, is just to bring out something that has legs where you can kind of compete with it, but it's not the best iteration of the faction. I think I like that they brought Ynnari back in check, so it actually makes people consider other detachments. I never ran Ynnari the entire time. I never really ran the easy route, no matter what. Like when we was Index, I never ran a single Wraith Knight. For the Wraith Knight cheese, I don't know. I play what I like, not what's good. And I make what I like work. And sometimes what's that?
You make it good. You make it good. Yeah. You do play things this good. They're not automatically good. You make them good. Yes.
Yeah, I find ways to make them work, and I mean, like, who was bringing shining spears, like triple shining spears before I did, and then it's not as bad, the triple shining spears it was fine, but the models I replaced them with just makes my list better. So it's not necessarily that I took them out because they're bad. I just took them out for more utility and something that was going to enhance my list even more.
I love it. Thomas, you got anything before my final question?
Nope. I think we've had a pretty comprehensive. Actually, no, I do have one. I lied. How do you think the meta is shaping up now? You've had time to plan it, deal with various, events, playing on different layouts with different missions, multiple chances for the challenger cards to come up. What's your opinion on the current 10th edition that we have to play with?
I think challenger cards are too easy to get. I think it should be like 10 points, not 6. 10 would make it a real catch-up mechanic. I mean, 6 points is still such a close game that I think that it gives almost an unfair advantage to be good and score well. That I think that I believe that 10 points is the better spot to be for a catch-up mechanic, because then it kind of like if you are behind 6 points and you get a challenger card for 3 and you get a secondary for 5 or 7 points, now you've already leapfrogged the opponent, and now to the point where they don't get a challenger card because you kept it like within 5 or 4 points, and now you took the lead when they earned the lead that they had to begin with. I don't hate it. I just think it needs to be modified just slightly, and I think that would make it a lot better, and I think it would make the community a lot happier to do that. I hear a lot of people complain about the challenger cards, that they don't want them at all, which there's an argument for that as well. I'm fine either way. At the end of the day, if you're a good player, then the 3 points they get a turn is not going to make or break your game.
2 comments.
Yeah.
I don't think 10 points would ever work, but I feel where you're coming from. And it gives the advantage to the second player on top of the advantages that you said as well, right?
Yeah.
Which makes the game very unpleasant. Now, a statement, because I've been asked a question. So I have recently been asked if I would like to dump challenger cards and not running my events. I am currently contemplating that. So you heard it here first. I don't know if Onslaught's going to continue to use challenger cards. They are contentious right now, and a lot of people, just like you mentioned, are having a lot of problems with them.
Right.
I just think there is a fix to it, to be quite honest with you. I don't think GW can fix the system, because even if you go at 10 points, you're going to have to increase the point cost of those stratagems or the challenges on those cards, right? Because you got to have a mechanism to potentially try to catch up, because that's the whole reason of having that. So I think it would be a challenge. I'm not saying that it's not possible. I think it would be a challenge for them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that the cards are meant to catch you up completely. So even if it was a 10 point and they left them at 3 points, I don't think the cards are meant to get you back in the game. They're meant to help you out slightly. The one thing where I think that they should not be played is teams, because it's already so easy to get draws. And for your different scoring brackets, the cards can completely screw over teams. And I don't think they should be used in team events.
Yeah, Recon by Fire has it absolutely right too. They're too easy to score as well, right? So just shout out to Recon by Fire.
To what you said, Elfy, about because there's a lot of secondaries that you can just do halfway. Engaging on fronts, oops, I'm in 3, or cleanse. I'll just cleanse 1 instead of 2.
Yeah.
No prisoners. I'll just undercommit here, so I kill 2 units instead of all 3, and then you can hit those margins of being within. Like you said, it's not going to make or break your game, really. But making your opponent, who by all rights is winning, always be at a deficit of 4 or 5 points, I can get how that would put a bad taste in someone's mouth.
Yeah.
I personally think they should keep it at 6 points, but only be primary, not your total score. Just if you're ahead on primary, because that's a lot harder to manipulate than just your.
Yeah, I could see that, where it just counts towards your primary, so you still can't get more than 50 between cards and primary.
Well, no, I mean the deficit. Instead of doing a deficit of total point score, if you're more than 6 behind, because then it's a lot harder to come back from a primary deficit in most situations than just a total score one.
They could also do kind of that, though. They could either have them count towards primary or secondary, where you still can't score over a certain amount. That way that it's not like a separate category for 12 points. It's 12 points in conjunction with either primary or secondary, whichever way they decide to go. So now you can score 50 points total between challenge cards and primary, or 50 or 40 points total between secondary and challenger cards. And I think that could alleviate some of the issues, but to be able to score 50 primary, 40 secondary, and 12 in a separate category completely makes it more difficult. But if you would tie it into either primary or secondary scoring caps, I think that makes them a little more fair.
Well, the other benefit to being a primary thing, in every single mission, except for Purge the Foe, you couldn't even get one until turn 3. Because start of round 2, you both have 0 primary.
Yep.
So then there's one less turn of them being in play, and it's again a smaller margin to work with.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Purge the Foe is already a volatile mission, so you know what you're getting into with that.
Yeah, and Purge, you can only score 4 points on first turn anyways, so you can't even trigger a challenge card first turn with Purge, because there's no kill more in the first turn.
Yep, so within their money. So then it'd be on from turn 3 onward and just stuck to that category.
Yep. But I think if they would, incorporate them into, probably primary scoring, I think that is a good step forward to trying to make them a little more fair, where people don't feel slighted by them playing the game and doing everything they're supposed to do right and being punished by it, by their opponent being able to just get a free, 9 or 12 points a game just for, playing behind the entire game.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do think that the limits they put on them are both not really limits, and also because even if you're what should be a close game, you could just choose turn 2. Oops, I'm not going to get engaged. I'm not going to give you units to kill, and I will just get a challenger card next turn, and I'll get my CP. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So it's like, sure, you lost 3 to 4 points, but you gained a CP. You saved units for future in the game, and now you have a extra card to play with.
First off, if you're trying to turn your engage into CP, good luck, because you're going to have to relegate yourself to 2/4 of the board now, or 1/4.
Yep.
Hey, look.
What I hate about the challenge cards the most, right, is that they're giving us a crutch to hold on to a one-legged man. And it really sucks because if they were just to make the game balance, right? It's easier just to balance the game, which we're already getting there. And going back to Elfie's point, so the game gets more balanced. Now you have challenger cards, which are supposed to help the balance of the game. Now you're at team events. And over the weekend, I was looking at team events. There was a ton of draws. Now, with these three factored in, you might go to team events and only ever get draws with all of these things, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's healthy for the game. I think that it's just a crutch to help out something that they should be fixing anyways, which is the game itself, right? By using a bullshit game mechanic to fix and plug a hole, right? It's like that meme where they're putting on what's that guy is trying to plug up that big hole on that water tank.
Oh.
Yeah.
You don't know flex tape?
Yeah,
Flex tape.
exactly.
We're going to talk off camera first of all.
Yes.
That is a. Anyways, I might very well be the minority. I actually like them most in team events because the whole idea of a team event is skill expression across multiple people. Yes, Rip Billy Mays, horrible loss.
Yes.
So I like them there because it makes the job of captaining and like players knowing what their matchups look like that much more important.
Yeah.
Because there are still going to be blowouts. There are still going to be people who are just get the advantageous matchup. You know, if you're a Custodes army staring down a Tau army on Planet Bowling Ball to terrain, hope you roll some fours. No amount of cards are going to save you. But I like him in team, so I like him flattening the curve a little bit. Yeah. Now, if there's 80% draws across the game, sure, I will admit I'm wrong. But you go to an 8-man event and 3 people got draws on a team, okay.
Is that a healthy game though? By everybody getting draws, right? Or do we manipulate the scoring system to adjust with challenger cards? You see, this tunnel can go so deep, right? Because you're trying. I have
my answer. It's a very callous answer. I'm going to preface that so no one jumps on me.
Yeah.
You just play better, man. I don't. Because here's the thing.
And I think in team events, the challenger cards mostly benefit the underdog.
Yep. And Maxwell, I think going back to what Elfy says, right? The reason you don't see it flipping games is Elfy's playing a ton of games. Just like me, I'm not playing a ton of games, so I don't get enough data to really see the challenger cards. Other than me watching people, that's the only reason I feel the same way as Elfy, because I've seen people complain about it, gripe about it. But once you have that amount of data, I guess that's when you start really seeing it, right? Once you're going through the trenches a lot more, that's when you're really serious. So
I want to touch on 2 comments real quick because we have 2 really good points over here. The first one's from Anime Squirrel. And while his math is correct, you only catch up halfway from the card. There's another half of this that we haven't even touched on, which is the free stratagem you get.
Yeah.
And that could be so much more worth than 6 points.
Yeah. 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points. Sorry. Well, the 6 points you're behind, that card could more than make up for that deficit. Some of those strats, like just giving any unit in the game sustained or lethal hits, is absolutely wild. You can just
we talked about this before. Scarbrand as Kool-Aid Man, and I'm a World Leaders player, right? But Scarbrand as the Kool-Aid Man, that's probably not a good idea. I'm just saying.
And then the other thing,
I'm fine with Kane walking through walls.
I know you are.
If I have Old One Eye and his 2 best Carnifex friends, and you're like, oh, they can't make it around, and suddenly they make it through. Hey, man, who's to say how that happened? You shouldn't have been beating me.
Yeah.
And then Recon here, talking about team events where it kind of softens the blow for the person who has the 0 and the 20-0 matchup, and it does incentivize getting those deficit games more, because then you know going in they're going to have cards, so maybe this is a 20-0, but now it's an 18-2, so we really need to push for best table for you with the best opponent we can put you into.
Okay. So with you saying that, right? Do you think that this was designed more with teams in play or solo?
Absolutely not. That is giving GW too much credit. that was a half joke, but honestly, as far as I'm aware, there are no GW team events. They're all singles.
They're not, but they're deeply affiliated. They're deeply affiliated.
I mean, I think we really got to ask the question though: are these challenge cards good for the mental health of the game?
Absolutely not. Just go to the 40K competitive Warhammer Reddit and just type in challenger cards and just read.
I think it's 50-50, but I believe Reddit's 100%. But I think the populace though is like 50-50 on it. I think it tilts some people to use challenger cards, and I think it helps some people with their sanity get a little bit closer in that game and not have that large disparity between points, right? So
it comes down to a very simple question. How comfortable are you with chaos theory? If you're very comfortable, you love the card. If you're not, you hate the cards. But thank you, Elfy. That's a wonderful segue into the title of this episode.
Yes, it is.
He got tired of us talking about cards and just like wanted them. Just like, come on, let's move it along.
for the third time, thank you very much, Elfy. Much love. Congratulations to you. Hopefully, we gave you enough flowers for all of your accolades. You're more than welcome to hang out, but we're going to jump into the commercial real quick so we can pay the bills. We'll be right back, and I'll explain to you how big of a contribution and sponsorship Baron of Dice will be at Crucible this year. Maybe you see them, maybe you don't. Now with a word from our sponsor, Baron of Dice. Baron of Dice is your one-stop shop for premium wargaming dice. Our dice are made with premium resin materials and colored dyes. Each die is hand-mixed to the desired result and then carefully swirled with 2, 3, or 4 colors in a silicone mold before being laser engraved with a wicked symbol and finished in a matte or gloss polish. There are no imperfections in our dice, no balancing issues, no micro bubbles or mold lines. This is the difference between. You can, quite literally, feel and hear a difference with our dice. Whatever game you play, whatever style your team or faction rocks, we're sure to have something to elevate your game. With over 500 styles and over 4,000 customer reviews, welcome to the best dice on the planet. Now back to our show. All right, so for those of you who do know, and those of you who don't know and are living under a rock, Patrick's, right? At Crucible, Baron of Dice has been our sponsor ever since I've been on board as the head judge for the GT side. This year, just got some great exciting news. They're going to have a 20x20 section selling Baron of Dice. He will be in person at Crucible this year. Super excited. You gonna go broke?
I was gonna say that every time I see their ad, those purple Tyranid dice. If anyone's seen my Tyranid army, they're Tyranid and they're purple, and I'm just like,
Dude, did you see the Crucible dice? Hold on, let me grab the Crucible dice.
I haven't. It's like the green. Elfy, you saw Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's, right?
Yeah.
Where the Green Goblin mask is just speaking, and that's how the dice talk to me. They're like, you can do it.
So, you probably couldn't see it well, but these are the boxes they're coming in. So we're probably gonna give them away in a case. What is this? 25 dice. So we'll probably give away 25 dice for each participant. It might be less. I don't know. We haven't decided yet. I'm not the guy who finances it. So I don't make those calls. Listen, it's 40,000 square feet. I ain't got that type of money, okay, for a convention center. Just say it. But this year's, come on, Sony autofocus. Come on, you're killing me.
Put it in front of your hand like this. There you go. Card. Hey. If anyone's wondering, they're red because world eaters. Just
Actually, I've already been called out twice for that, and I want to confirm live that Tim, who finances this, was the one who chose the color and not me.
I was gonna
I have no say so when it comes to the dice. I'm like, hey, we just want dice. He's like, but I pick color because I'm paying for it. I'm like, touche.
I was gonna say if anybody wanted a free yellow card, they control you and say it's a blood angels, but now there's no yellow card because you didn't make the choice.
I did see. Shout out to Rio. I love Rio. Absolutely miss her. I know she's been super busy with her personal life, but she made a comment on Discord, and she says, "I can't wait to have those Omega Excellent collection to her dice." So I thought of her and her blood angels as soon as she said it. So.
All right.
So they'll be there. So going into the mental health portion of this all, right? So last question I wanted to ask off to Elfy. This is the PS last question, right? So how do you feel about the mental health in the world of Warhammer 40K? Now that can be personal to you or what you see in other people, but just give us a little synopsis of what you feel the mental health is in the world of Warhammer 40K.
Sure. I think that community is important for a lot of people. We spend all of our days, slaving at work, making money, paying bills. Everyone needs an outlet of some sort. And for me, that's what this is. I know that the weeks that I have a tournament are a lot more exciting going into the weekends than the weekends I don't, because, I've made a ton of friends, through the community. I love seeing all the people. It's something I really enjoy doing. It's a passion I have, so I think that, a lot of people probably use that as an escape as well. Everyone needs an escape from the monotony of life, whether it's video games, Warhammer, card games, whatever it is. Everyone uses something as a way to escape, into their own little world so that they can try to shut everything off, even for just a day or a couple hours. And then that's what I do with it. I use it because I enjoy all the people I interact with. I enjoy the community. That's why, I come to all the events. Do I want to drive 2.5 hours to Orlando, once a month? No. But I run into different people over there than over here on this side, and I enjoy seeing those people as well. So I make the trip over there to see some people that I don't see on this side of, the bay. So for me, that's what it is.
The community over there and the people are worth the nightmare of I-4. I hate I-4, dude. I hate I-4. We need like an above skyscraper bridge, something. I don't know, dude. We need something over there. They need more lanes.
Have you considered buying a helicopter? They have the helipad right down the street from Kissimmee.
I might have to do that. Hey, YouTubers, are you willing to make a donation to our helicopter fund?
just buy 16 drones and fly yourself there.
just carrying me on the drone.
Exactly.
Don't look like the T-Rex they airplaned out of the damn island.
Recon by Fire says checks in the mail. Love you, baby. I appreciate it very much. And back to when you question, you said sustained hits and death wounds. They roll. Okay, so I pulled a bunch of those Crucible dice out. They roll fairly balanced, just to let you know. I was a little bit upset because I was like, I want it broken. Like, I want nothing but, I want toilet dice. Why isn't Burnout dice giving me toilet dice?
Just a small story real quick. Me and Recon's first game was at a team event using, and I had to loan my dice out to Anime Squirrel, so I had to use your dice, which were the 2024's Crucible dice. I explained to him that knights were a bad matchup and Gene Stealer's average like 6 to 7 mortal wounds, 8 to 9 if I'm lucky.
Yep.
By turn 2, I dropped 4 Armigers with my Gene Stealers. They would not stop rolling 6s. So, like I said, like, about 300% above average. I had to look Recon in the eyes and promise him I wasn't trying to hustle him.
Recon, I got them dice on the low. Let me know if you need them.
This wasn't.
I'll tell you what, they roll excellent sustains if you have full rerolls.
Good trade off. That's a data point.
That is a data point. That 100%.
But
so, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
To what Elfy said, I do largely agree. I myself have not been able to go to events, much to my eternal regret. Things like having a job and a very fulfilling and happy relationship I've in have both cut back the amount of events I can play. But as you've all heard me talk about before, me and Lewis have talked about quite a bit off camera is my excitement for Crucible. To let all of you know, to be completely transparent, I am so excited that last Christmas I put in for vacation for the entire week of Crucible. Like not just that weekend. I'm like, from Sunday to Sunday, I will not be here. And to that point, I also, to my girlfriend, who I love very much, told him, like, look, I'm going to be in Orlando. I would very much value you being there with me, but I get if you can't make it or whatever. And she has very graciously also made plans to come. But that's just how important, even though I can't make it on a regular basis, like Elfy and, you can by hosting them, I still try to, commit as much as possible because I do love this hobby. And I think it's a bit, the community is great. Meeting new people, playing with our friends is all wonderful. But there's also, like you were saying, Elfy, just a personal investment. Like, you have the nickname Elfy. I'm sure you didn't arbitrarily just pick up Eldar because someone told you they were strong and stuck with it for, however many years. Like, and not to speak for you, but like for me with Tyranids, I love Tyranids. I love, their lore. I love the science fiction super predator, thing. And I've played Chaos a little bit. I've played Necrons. They're cool, but like I always come back to the army I love. And I was just, trolling General Slaughter over here. His name is General Slaughter. And what army does that come from?
Imperial Guard.
Yes, Imperial Guard.
Commissar, got it.
Slide Marlboro with a cigar in his mouth, but his brother. The evil
me personally, I've had very little hobby time of any kind. I've had to actually carve out specific times to go find fun things to do, whether that's try to scrounge up a game of 40K, which has failed. I haven't played a game in 2 months. I am drowning over here. But also something that's quicker. Like I've gotten into Magic. Just something I could do for 20, 30 minutes, and that's not a full 4-hour game.
How dare you? How do we kick this dude out of this call again?
Man, I can sit down at a table and play a full game of Magic before I'm done deploying an army.
Just for the record, that's where my name came from.
Oh, you're Elf Tribal?
Yeah, I used to be when I first moved here. That's how I got my name.
When I said I love Tyranids, it didn't. It's not just 40K. I have that. But yeah, no, I think hobbies of any kind, and most relevantly, 40K is a great. I always feel better going to events. Even there have been events I've told Lewis, I'm like, I feel like crap. I almost backed out. I didn't want to get out of bed. I get to the event, I'm there 5-10 minutes talking to him, talking to other people. I have to talk to you before we really became good friends just at events.
Yeah.
I'm because it's that shared community, that passion. Because even if I'm not an elf player, I love hearing you talking. Like you bring the avatar. I bring a Trigon. No one thinks a Trigon's good, but I like my little guy. So I think there's a good amount of support, even if it's not an intended consequence, if that makes sense, of just people all doing the same thing for the same reason. Because I assume people go and spend money and buy plastic because they want to have fun. That's General said, almost an hour ago, he hosts events and, he looks forward to those weekends where he gets to go out and have 20 to, 40 to Crucible, 120 people come out and hang out, say hi, frustrate them.
Honestly, so thank you for that, because that's a segue to what I kind of wanted to touch up on before we head out. I actually have a degree in psychology, so I think I would like to say I have a good understanding on what the mental behavior is of certain people, right? Or just people in period. And it helps me have a good understanding of who I am as well. Analyzing, figuring out exactly what makes me happy and what makes me sad. 40K, and the reason that I'm a tournament organizer is 40K tournament organizing, being around individuals like Elfy, Regal, the Marchands, the Recons, right? Oh my gosh, there's so many individuals. I'm on stream. I'm gonna forget all of the names, but every single person, right? There's so many people that make me happy to come out to these events, that make it a gratifying moment just to have friends like that, to see smiles on their faces, just because like Regal said, right? Sometimes it's a challenge for all of us to get up and go and have fun, bring some happiness to ourselves, but sometimes we just have to push ourselves, right? Force ourselves to have that happiness. I've had a friend who always told me, for years, you're constantly working. Get in there, have a great time. Play some 40K. Stop running so much 40K. Actually play some 40K. Have a great time. Hang out with your friends. And this year, I've been doing it a lot more often. I haven't felt like I've been in my own head with a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I do on the back end, a lot of work for Crucible, all of the Onslaught events, right? They can be very stressful to a lot of individuals. And I know we're talking about the player aspect of it, but remember, there's always someone that's a part of your community, either be the owner, the tournament organizer, or the actual player themselves, that might be going through something, might be having a rough week, a rough month. They might have had a family member who passed away and they just can't deal with it, right? Try to be their friend, try to help them out, help their, I'm not asking people to be psychologists, but be a friend. Try to be there for them, to support them. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe they need for you to grab their hands and be like, hey, let's go to this event together and have a blast, right? Yeah, the extra time and hard work you put in forth to make these events happen are greatly appreciated and don't go unnoticed. No, thank you. Listen, there are times where I feel like, and I'll be completely honest, this is just human nature, right? There are times where I feel like I'm most hated, right? There are times I feel like I'm loved as a tournament organizer. Nobody is a bigger critic of what I like to bring to the community than me. I'm always putting myself down. I'm always worrying about if I'm giving enough. I'm always concerned about people's feelings. People as people. I'm a community organizer, and I've always said that for a very long time, even though the title is tournament organizer, but community organizer is where I like to live. The reason being is because I don't see people as numbers. I see them as people. When I run these RTTs, I don't make a dime, not a penny. Now, the stores give me opportunities, right, to probably get a little sponsorship, a little gift here and there, but I don't make money to pay my bills or money to feed me and my family when I do all this stuff. And I'm not saying that to throw it in people's face, but I just want to let people know the sacrifices that I make and I put into all of this, just like you do, right? For all of us to have a great time, and for me as well, because seeing you all is wonderful. And Crucible is like the cherry on top at the end of the year, minus the teams tournament I do at the end of the year. But that's like the finale for me, to say goodbye to everyone for that year and to see you again on the following year. That's the opportunity for me to get a drink with you. I'm out watching all of the terrain till midnight, Fridays and Saturdays and Thursday night. You're more than willing to come up there, bring me some drinks. I'm usually getting drunk there. I don't drink a lot, but I get drunk at Crucible. So I know I'm going on a soliloquy here, and I don't want to bore everyone, but listen, please, if Warhammer 40K is what makes you happy, do it. Play it. Enjoy it. And if you can't figure out how it's not, how to make you happy, let me know. We'll try to help you out. Me, Thomas, I don't want to speak for no one, but I'm always willing to help out the community. Whatever issues you might have, whatever problems, if you need a coach, whatever it might be. If you just need a friend to lean on and just talk to, I'm here for you. I genuinely am. And I hope that everyone understands that. When it comes to behavioral health, I try to put my right foot forward at all of these events to help you all, right? by not allowing cheaters, by being a little bit strict. I understand that a lot of people see it as being strict, but you know what? If you're not having an issue and you're not having a bad experience at that event, then it's helping your sanity, right? It's helping your mental health. So that's my soliloquy. I wish nothing but everybody the best in their mental health. Hopefully you continue to have fun in 40K. Don't get too mad. Don't get too sad. Try to keep it even keel and enjoy the game.
I just want to add on at the end, for those of you who, maybe notice your friends who've fallen out of the community, maybe stop coming to events, stop coming to play groups at your local shop or whatever, reach out to them. Full transparency, me and Lewis, we talk to each other 3 or 4 times a week, and like 1 or 2 of those are just like, hey man, hope you have a good day, you good. Like, it's not always making plans, talking about 40K, it's just checking in because like, hey, you haven't heard from me in like 3 or 4 days, you're still alive. And that's a big part of why I'm in the hobby. Was in 9th edition I was down, I really had nowhere to go in the hobby, couldn't get games, couldn't go to events. And I've told the story before, but Lewis drove like an hour and a half, like both ways, just to kick my butt for 40 minutes. Like that's all it took. So if you're,
and you too, you came out here, and I love that as well, right? And we do for each other, which is awesome.
Yeah, like I always tell people you can reach out to me if you need a game and want to get together, do something. I don't have a lot of free time, but like I make time. And yeah, just reach out because I've had friends who played and then he kind of like got quiet in the group chats, got quiet in the scene, and I hit him like, hey, you want to go down to the shop tonight and just put some models on the table? And then you're there for 4 hours, so you're gonna talk, and maybe that's all someone needs. Is just like I said, not giving therapeutic advice. I am not qualified, but I don't know that many people that would turn down a night out with their buddies. I've had people call me out where I've been in slumps, like, hey, let's go play 40K, get some dinner after, and that was all. That's all I needed in the world. I didn't know it, but it was.
Yeah, and Alchemist, that was something that me and Regal talked about prior to the show. I was actually afraid of being vulnerable because of my position. I didn't want people to judge me harshly and think that I'm a bad person, or because I'm ex-military and I have PTSD and depression and things like that, that those are things that people should focus on and who I am to them. So it is a challenge, and there's stigmas to it too, right? So much appreciated, right? And I'm glad that you appreciate it.
That's my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know if you knew that or not, but that's she.
I did it, but everybody knows now.
She is an educator and a big proponent of mental health and all that. So she is absolutely was ecstatic for this episode when I sent her the link.
I love it. No, I love the support too.
Me and you have been talking for a while. Elfy, have anything else to add or?
And check this out too before Elfy talks. Right, if you need any help, seriously, hit up Nami.
No, I don't really have anything else. I said, what was on my mind, as far as it goes, and I think that, we can all use an escape, and, you just got to find out what your escape is, and, what makes you happy, and then you just got to do it. That's what I do. If the game never makes me unhappy or not happy anymore, then maybe I try with a break, and if that still doesn't work, then maybe I need to, see what it is that will make me happy. But right now, I love the community. I love everyone that I'm around. I enjoy getting out to play games with people, win or lose. I'm there to have fun.
I love it. Love the attitude. All right, my peoples. Well, this has been a very special episode of 40K on Onslaught Gaming 40K, where we talked about mental health. My alarm keeps on going off. Sorry about that, everyone.
Time to wake up.
Apparently, I need to wake up or go to sleep, one of the two. But,
he's late for his shift.
Honestly, listen, if it's a challenge for you to come out to the events, to play a game, get in contact with one of us. If you're a friend or kin to one of us, right? Contact me. Let me know. Hey, these are the things that are going on. I can't be your psychologist, but I can be a friend. So Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much to Elfy and Regal as always. Hopefully, I see everyone at Grand Onslaught 10, which is August 2nd and 3rd in Hudson, Florida. Go check out my Discord. All the information is there. You can go to all the websites and check out the events there as well. And don't forget, Onslaught Gaming 40K, where victory is just a strategy away. Have a wonderful night.
Have a good night, everyone.
Night.
Peace, Greece, and I love you, my peeps.